March 18th, 2015, the Ed Sullivan Theater. 6-year-old Emma Rodriguez sat in the front row, her legs swinging beneath the chair. She wore a yellow dress with white flowers, her dark curly hair pulled back with butterfly clips. In her lap, she clutched a small purple notebook covered in stickers. Beside her sat her grandmother, Barbara Rodriguez, 68, her hand resting protectively on Emma's shoulder. David Letterman was midway through his monologue when he noticed the little girl. Something about the way she sat, perfectly still, watching him with unusual intensity, caught his attention. "Hold on, folks," David said, abandoning his jokes. "Young lady in the yellow dress, what's your name?" Emma looked up at her grandmother, who nodded. Emma stood carefully, clutching her notebook. "My name is Emma Marie Rodriguez. I'm 6.5 years old." Her voice was small but clear. The audience chuckled warmly. David smiled, walking to the stage edge. "Emma Marie Rodriguez, that's beautiful. And who's this with you?" "That's my grandma Barbara. She takes care of me." "Emma, you're holding a notebook. What's in it?" "My letters." "Who do you write letters to?" Emma became very serious. "I write letters to my mommy, but I can't send them because heaven doesn't have an address." The laughter stopped immediately. Complete silence. David's smile faded. "Your mommy is in heaven?" Emma nodded. "She died when I was 4. She had cancer. It made her very sick, and then she went to heaven." Barbara's eyes filled with tears. David stood motionless, struggling to maintain composure. "Emma, I'm very sorry. Can you tell me about these letters?" Emma opened her notebook, revealing pages of careful printing and crayon drawings. "Every night before bed, I write Mommy a letter. I tell her about my day, about school, about what Grandma made for dinner. Then I give the letter to Grandma, and Grandma reads it and tells me what Mommy would say back." Several people were openly crying. David removed his glasses, wiping his eyes. "What kinds of things do you tell your mommy?" Emma flipped through pages. "Yesterday I told her about my loose tooth. Last week I told her I got a gold star. On her birthday, I wrote her a really long letter about how much I miss her." "And what does Grandma Barbara say your mommy says back?" "She says Mommy is proud of me, that she loves me, that she's watching from heaven." Emma paused, then looked at David. "But, Mr. Letterman, I have a question." "What's your question, sweetheart?" "Why doesn't heaven have phones?" David blinked. "I'm sorry." Emma's voice trembled. "Why doesn't heaven have phones? Because if heaven had phones, I could call Mommy and tell her things myself. I have so many things I want to tell her, and writing letters is nice, but I really want to hear her voice again. I'm starting to forget what she sounds like." David sat down on the stage edge, tears streaming, unable to speak. Barbara stood, wrapping Emma in her arms. The little girl looked confused. "Did I say something wrong?" David shook his head. "No, honey, you said something very right. Something everyone here understands. Everybody has someone they wish they could call, someone they miss hearing." Emma considered this. "Do you have someone you wish you could call?" "I do. My father passed when I was young. I wish I could call him sometimes." "What was your mommy's voice like?" Emma closed her eyes. "Soft, like when Grandma sings lullabies, but different. She used to call me Mi Amor. Sometimes I try really hard to remember, but it gets fuzzy." Barbara spoke, voice thick with emotion. "Emma's mother, my daughter Christina, died 2 years ago. Pancreatic cancer. She was 34. Emma was 4 years old. Christina recorded videos for Emma, birthday messages for every year until 18. But Emma's right. It's not the same as a conversation." David walked down into the audience and knelt before Emma. "Emma, I want to tell you something. Can you really hear me?" Emma nodded. "I think heaven does have phones. I think your mommy hears every single word you write. I think she hears you at dinner. I think she hears you whisper, 'Good night, Mommy,' before sleep. The phone line is open all the time. We just can't hear the other end." Emma's eyes widened. "Really? Really? Love doesn't stop just because someone goes to heaven. Your mommy loved you so much, right?" "So much. She told me every single day." "That love doesn't disappear. It gets bigger. So big it reaches from heaven to you. Every time you feel loved, that's your mommy calling you back." Emma thought carefully. So when I wrote about my loose tooth, she heard me? She heard you. In my bad dream? Every word, sweetheart. Emma smiled genuinely for the first time. That makes me feel better. David addressed the audience. Emma came here tonight because her grandmother wrote to our show. Barbara wanted Emma to know her mother was real, that Christina's story matters. Barbara, may I read part of your letter? Barbara nodded. David pulled out paper. Barbara wrote, My granddaughter carries loss no child should bear. She writes letters to a mother who will never write back. But she does it with courage that humbles me. I want her to know Christina's love lives on. He folded it carefully. Emma, I want to read one of your letters, to your mommy. Out loud, so everyone knows about Christina. May I? Emma looked at Barbara, who nodded. Emma handed David her notebook. This one is from yesterday. David returned to his desk and read, Dear Mommy, today I learned about butterflies in school. Mrs. Peterson said butterflies start as caterpillars and then they change and become beautiful and fly. Grandma says you're like a butterfly now. You changed and now you can fly in heaven. I hope that's true. I hope you can fly down and visit me sometimes. I miss you so much. Today, Tommy said, Can't have a mommy because she's dead, but I told him I do have a mommy. She just lives somewhere else now. Was I right? Love, Emma. P.S. My tooth came out. By the time David finished, everyone was crying. Production assistants, band members, Paul Schaffer, all weeping openly. David looked at Emma. You were absolutely right. You do have a mommy. And Emma, your mommy flew down today. She's been here this whole time. Because you carried her with you. He turned to the camera. Christina Rodriguez died at 34, but she lives on in this remarkable little girl. Tonight, millions know her name. That's everything. The audience gave a 3-minute standing ovation. Barbara held Emma close, shoulders shaking. After the show, David spent an hour with Emma and Barbara, asking about Christina. By the next week, Emma was enrolled in a Spanish immersion program, fully funded anonymously, maintaining connection to her mother's culture. Emma's story went viral, over 50 million views. Heaven Has Phones trended worldwide. Grief counselors began recommending her letter-writing technique. Purple notebooks became symbols of love transcending death. 3 months later, Emma received a package. Inside was an old rotary phone, painted with clouds, stars, and butterflies. David's note read, For Emma, your heaven phone, it's always connected. Emma put it on her nightstand. Every night, she'd pick up the receiver and talk to Christina. Somehow, speaking into that phone felt like her mother might answer. David retired 4 months after Emma's appearance. In his final monologue, he said, A little girl taught me the line between heaven and earth isn't as solid as we think. Love finds a way. Years later, Emma turned 16 and watched all Christina's videos. The 18th birthday video ended, Mi amor, I kept my promise. I was there for every birthday. I heard every letter. The line was always open, baby. Always. Emma still has her purple notebook, now full. She keeps it next to the painted phone in her mother's videos. She's studying to be a child grief counselor, helping other children trying to call heaven. And sometimes, late at night, Emma still picks up that painted phone. She's 20 now, building a life Christina will never see. But she still talks to her mother, still says mi amor. Because David was right. Heaven does have phones. Love is the connection. Memory is the signal. Heaven has phones. We just have to believe in the connection.